Welcome to the Lead in Digital podcast, the show where we explore innovation, operational excellence, and digital transformation in service. We bring you insights from the brightest minds in leadership, business strategy, service excellence, and innovation to help you stay ahead in an ever-evolving industry. Today, we're honoured to welcome Caroline Häggström, Vice President of Customer Service at Vattenfall. With a robust international background in the energy sector, Caroline has dedicated many years to leading transformation initiatives and developing operations across the entire value chain. Her expertise spans finance, strategy, construction, operation, sales, and market development, providing her with a comprehensive understanding of both the big picture and the intricate details of complex organizations. Caroline's leadership philosophy centers on a people-first approach, emphasizing the importance of employee engagement in achieving customer satisfaction and operational excellence, and with the strategy garnering international recognition. In her role, Caroline also co-leads the Vattenfall Group transformation program, driving significant change within the organization. Vattenfall is said to have been the world's first state-owned power producer, founded in 1909. Vattenfall operates today in 8 countries in the Nordics and northwestern Europe, and one of Europe's largest producers and retailers of electricity, with about 21,000 employees. Vattenfall produces electricity from many types of energy sources, including hydro, nuclear, wind, solar, biomass, waste, and natural gas. They are committed to building a future where everyone can choose fossil-free ways to move, make, and live. In this episode, we'll delve into the impact of digital transformation on customer service in energy sector, strategies for fostering a people-first culture to drive operational excellence, and insights on navigating complex organizational transformations. Let's get started. Hi, Caroline.
Hi, good to see you.
Good to see you. Thank you for joining us today and welcome to our podcast.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Really excited for this conversation. As we said, we're going to have a chat about digital transformation, about that kind of people-first culture, and then sort of navigating organizational transformation. So, we'll have a little chat around those 3 topics. But before we jump in, it'd be really great if you could give us a quick overview of your sort of career journey and how you got into service delivery leadership.
Absolutely. Just to say, those are 3 of my favorite topics, so I look forward to this. Well, let's see. I have a master's in business administration and finance, and right after studies, I had my first full-time job as a customer service agent. And I worked there for almost 2 years before I then moved on to pursue a career within finance, with my mind set out, well, my goal set out for a CFO role. That's what I wanted to do. So I started as a business controller, and I worked controlling in a couple of different organizations. And then 7 years later, I found myself as an interim CFO for an organization that was about to close down due to a reorganization. So I had a role to sort of dismantle that and make sure everything landed in the new organization. And after I had done that, I felt like I was sort of done with finance, not because of the reorg and all of that, but I sort of felt like I know finance now as much as I wanted to know it. So I moved on to areas which was more unknown to me, and I started to then work with construction projects within heat and thermal in the utility industry. And then I was responsible for a number of different project functions like risk management, business case, and things like that. And all in all, this led me to a role of a director of R&D and engineering with a Dutch, German, and UK-based team. And I was based in the Netherlands. And I loved everything about that role. It's so much fun. And I have to say that construction and engineering really has a special place in my heart. Moved from there to wind, worked a little bit more commercially, also within project construction, and did that for a couple of years. And after that, I moved on to Stockholm and took on this role as the Vice President of Customer Service of the same customer service organization that I once started in as an agent.
Wow, so you went full circle almost.
That's exactly what it felt like. This was a full circle moment. So
fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a short story.
Yeah. But it sounds like you've had quite a varied career journey, and kind of like being in sort of different functions within organizations as well. So that's, must have given you a real breadth of sort of knowledge as to how a company works, and sort of the different challenges that different parts of organizations have. And
Absolutely.
bringing all that together and having knowledge of what everyone else's goals are whilst you're focusing on yours is probably quite invaluable.
Yeah, it's been a great journey, and all of it within the utility industry. So I've had the opportunity to see this industry from so many different perspectives and angles, and it's humbling, I think, and I'm very happy for all the learnings that I've had during these years.
Yeah, I was going to say, it sounds like you're very positive about it, but
Yeah.
talking about learnings, what have been some sort of challenges that you've maybe had to overcome, and how have they shaped your journey?
Oh, there's so many. Well, for a few things, then, I mean, I have a number of times my job or the role that I've had has disappeared because of reorganizations or other organizational changes. And I think that's happened to me maybe 4, 5 times during these years. So one learning is that I have the lead role in the movie about me, and to really sort of quickly get up, find my ground, and never see myself as a victim of circumstances. I think that has been important learnings that has shaped like the way I take ownership, basically. I also have many learnings related to, sometimes you find yourselves in situations with the manager or leadership team where you don't really believe in the vision, you're not really in tune to the vision, or maybe you don't even believe in the person or connect to their value base. And those are also important learnings where I found myself moving away from roles like that because of me not believing in the vision or the values of the leader. And every time I've taken that step, it's become more and more clear to me how extremely value driven I am and how important that is to me. And in the beginning, it's taken me a long time to sort of get my head around that and get out of that situation. And now I'm pretty sort of crisp with what I need and what I believe in. And those have been important learnings as well, just to land in what is really important to me. Not just having a job, but actually doing something I believe in for someone I believe in as well, I think. But what I wanted to mention also is, like, I think maybe my most important lesson is from when I came back. I got really sick in a trip to South America, and I came back really sick. Turned out I'd gotten an inflammation in my central nervous system, and it took a long time before I got that diagnosed, and also then to fully recover from it. And I kept on working, like at all the capacity I had in a leadership role. I kept going, but that because I take ownership and I will sort this out and I will fix it. It's just up to me and I will make this work. Blah blah blah. Stupid. And then I really had to learn. I saw things from different perspectives because of this, and it really forced me to show more vulnerability and ask for more help. And once I really came to the point when I started to show my vulnerable side and really ask for help, I could quite easily see how that sort of raised engagement and how that built other people up and people took more responsibility, and it didn't really weaken me in the end. It was rather the opposite, that it made me stronger and it made my team stronger. And I think that has been maybe the most important lesson of all.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the one thing that we can't check. Health is so important. There's getting the job done, there's meeting goals, there's all this sort of stuff, but if your health isn't there,
Yeah.
there's what's the point in any of it, really?
Yeah.
But I think that's really interesting, and kind of, putting yourself, like thinking about yourself more, and putting it, you're the one that things can happen to you, but how you react is entirely up to you. So you could be the victim, like you say, or you could say, right, this is an opportunity to learn and take, my learnings forward. So yeah, that sounds like they've definitely helped to shape your journey, those challenges, and they've brought you to a much better place.
Yeah, I think definitely, absolutely.
Yeah. And you touched on the kind of the working for leaders who you didn't necessarily have the same goal. Is that a sort of a leadership lesson that you've then brought in as being a leader yourself? You think, this is something that has to be really important when you're driving a big transformation, for example?
Absolutely. And I think that I want to give other people the opportunity to also choose if they believe in me or if they believe in what I want to do. So to really be able to articulate that and also be authentic about who you are and what you stand for and how you do things and why. I think that is a level of transparency that needs to be established very clearly, both to your closest team but also to the extended team because they all have to be in on that. So definitely.
Yeah, great. I'd like to pick up a bit more on the people first strategy a bit later, but I'd like to ask about customer service and digital transformation.
Mm-hmm.
How have you seen customer expectations evolve in recent years, kind of in the energy sector or just in general?
Yeah, they have evolved significantly these last couple of years, I would say. We have, unfortunately, the utility industry doesn't have the best customer reputation when it comes to customer experience because we have a pretty complex product in a way. And there's a number of different tariffs you can choose. There is electricity distribution, there is electricity sales, there is unbundling. Some of it is monopolized, some of it is competitive, and there are fixed prices and there are taxes and it's a difficult landscape for customers to comprehend, I think. And also in the Nordics, the price of electricity hasn't been at the level where it has been sort of the most significant monthly cost for a person. Mm-hmm. So all this combined, I think, have sort of established our product as a low interest product in a way. And then the energy crisis hit us hard back in 2022 with prices skyrocketing. And all of a sudden, our product became critical for people's economy. Electricity is, even though it's a complex product to understand, sometimes it's also a vital product for your daily life. So it's a vital product and it became very expensive. And that shifted something. So now our customers are, I would say, they are much more aware and they are much more knowledgeable. And we also have many more customers that sort of took actions into their own hands and started to produce their own electricity via solar panels, for instance, which now makes them clients in a way because they sell electricity through to us when they have a surplus. So it's a whole different landscape and a whole new expectation level, I think, which is super exciting.
Yeah, it sounds very complex, and when you describe it like that, it's something that we do take for granted. But yeah, it's really complex. So
or
the
it
customer,
can be.
yes,
It can be.
Yeah, yeah. And do you think digital transformation is helping with how you can approach that complexity, or how you can simplify it, or just how you can change the way you deliver customer service?
Yeah, I think the digital transformation has made it easier for customers to sort of stay on top of their consumption and follow their consumption and the sort of cost that they build up during a month. And I think our self-service options that we have makes it easier for customers to sort of get hold of information and get the responses to the fairly straightforward questions. But what we also see then is that when things are more complex or when prices skyrocket and people want advice about their price and their agreements, they want to get in touch and they want to talk about it and bounce things around and soundboard what's best for them. This is a new sort of, or it's not a new demand, but it's a demand that is more variable with the market price. So it's a little bit more hard to foresee when the demand will come. So all in all, we have the way we now provide customer service is that we have had to become more flexible to meet this variability in demand. And we have also had to become both more deep and broad in our knowledge base for the things that the customers then want to come to. I mean, they raise their awareness level, which means that they raise their expectations on us, and we need to be ahead of the game. So the wealth of knowledge internally has sort of had to really increase and expand, I think.
Yeah. And are you seeing the use cases for like AI and automation to do some of that back end processing to sort of enhance the customer service without replacing having that human element as well.
Exactly. And that is something that I think is super important and something that I am very cautious about because I think that the true competitive edge in customer service lies in the human touch. And at this point, we are still learning what AI can do for us, and the technology development is so quick. But our focus really is like, how can AI make it easier for our people to help our customers rather like how can AI complement what we do rather than replace what we do? And there are a lot of back-end like information, clustering information, looking for information, grasping knowledge, like writing emails, things like that AI can support with. That sort of just gives our agents more time to actually talk to the customer when they want to talk to us.
Yeah. And if someone was sort of starting out on this journey, or, what advice would you give to someone who wanted to, I guess, innovate? So start to use all these really shiny tools, but still kind of keep that competitive edge and, that human element. What sort of advice would you give to other leaders?
I think that what's been really important in our AI development journey, I think, is to really, really spend time on answering the question, what can AI do for us? What do we want AI to do? Because there's so many options and opportunities and different technologies, and you could easily get lost in that if you just jump into it. So first get to know the context of it all and what it can do, and then choose a strategy and then go for that strategy. So really front load the process, I think, has been important for us, but also in that process to stay customer focused and understand the true customer needs, not just add shiny new tools, but really solve the pain points that the customer has and start in that end, I would say.
Yeah. So just staying on the kind of the navigating organizational transformation kind of topic, what would you say are the biggest obstacles sort of when driving like these big transformations? What strategies have sort of worked for? I think you've touched on a couple there, but what would be your kind of advice?
Driving transformation means that you want to change something. And so you want to go from something to something else. And I think that in order to go to a new place, you need to get a people's movement going, basically, to tip the scale. And it's hard. And for most people, it naturally comes with a resistance. So I've also tried, this is going to be maybe a little bit conceptual now, but I've always tried to go into this seeing it as it's a shared adventure. We're going on a journey, right? And like imagine that you're at the airport and you're taking your team on a trip, and maybe half of the team they're already next to you at boarding. Because they're so ready to go. And someone is out getting snacks, and someone is late because their train was late, and another person is maybe stuck in security, and someone forgot their passport. And someone decided to stay at home because they really hate the destination that you chose. But it's sort of your job to guide them all to the gate in time. And conceptually, I think leading transformation is similar. You need to bring people along and get this people's movement going. And I've read somewhere that 70% of all transformations fail because of employee disengagement. So
Wow.
to engage and involve, I think, is the only strategy that truly, really, really matters. And a good start is to be clear about what it is you want to do. Where are you going from and to and why?
Yeah.
And then allowing and involving people to engage in creating the path there, basically.
Yeah.
So people engagement, bring them along. It's a journey.
Yeah, I mean that's great advice because like you said, you can spend all your money on the new shiny tools, but if no one uses it,
Exactly.
what have you gained? New
Exactly.
shiny tools that sit in a box and no one uses them, and everyone goes
Exactly.
back to their spreadsheet or their pen and paper.
Exactly.
Excellent. So we've mentioned a bit about people. I'd really like to ask some questions about that, if I may.
Yeah. Yeah.
You emphasize a people first kind of leadership approach. How would you say sort of putting the prioritizing your employees then translates into that improved customer service?
Yeah. Well, I would say the people first leadership view for me that it goes for any job, not just customer service, because in all the jobs that you do, you want to have people around you that are equipped and committed to your cause, right? So, and if you want to have, because what is the alternative? You don't want to go to the alternative no matter what. And then you better make sure that the people that you work with are psychologically safe, that they have trust in the way that the company is steered and in what you want to do, and they are asked to contribute and are taken seriously when they do, and that they have what they need in order to deliver on the expectations you put on them. So I think this is sort of global. It goes for all companies, all jobs, and that's one of my strongest core beliefs, talking about values, which we did before, but especially when it comes to a relationship based job like customer service or service delivery, it is critical, I think. And your organization is the face of your brand. So the better you take care of them, the better they will take care of the customer and promote the brand. So for me, it's pretty easy.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds so logical when you say it like that, but I think people just haven't focused on that, for so many years, and so it does feel quite new and quite strange,
Yeah.
as a strategy. But I mean, it absolutely makes sense.
Yeah. For me, but I think for me it's so obvious that it's almost strange to explain it.
Yeah.
But then the more I talk about it and the more I engage with people on this topic, I realize that it's not as clear and obvious for others. So, but I've also never had someone argue against me, which
Well,
I
that's
would
good.
welcome.
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
welcome that because it would be an interesting discussion, I think. But
And how do you, if you wanted to share some practical ways that you can, I guess, foster that culture of engagement and give leaders some tips on to how to make sure that everyone gets on the plane together, what would be what would be some sort of practical advice?
or a more sustainable choice of travel, maybe.
Yeah, well, maybe, yeah. Hiking. We could all go hiking.
Yeah. Well, I would say number one is psychological safety. If you want to have a team that sort of develops the business and brings the business forward together with you, they need to feel safe in doing so. So psychological safety, I think, is the basis for everything. It's safe. I want to hear what you say. I will take you seriously when you say it, and then we will go from there. So psychological safety at work between leaders and employees, but also among employees. So it's everybody sort of is part of creating that safety. And then also, if that's number one, then number two, I think, is get to know the organization. And with the organization, I mean, get to know the people in the organization. Sometimes you're in very large organizations and you might not know everybody by first name basis or things like that. But at least, get to know the organization so you understand the vibe and care about it and listen and be curious about it, be interested in what the organization have to say. And because I think that it's so important to create trust. If I want to bring people on a journey, they need to also have trust in me that I will take care of them on that journey. So get to know the organization and the people in the organization. Don't just sit in meeting rooms with your board and read about the rest on paper in statistics. I think it's important. Thirdly, celebrate and recognize success and also the small things, because real innovation is not only in the big leaps, it's in the small steps and the accumulation of all the small steps. So don't forget to also celebrate mistakes, to be honest.
Yeah.
The small successes and the mistakes, because what I read something from Harvard Business School that 80 to 90% of all innovation fails. That differs depending on type of innovation and industry and so on, but somewhere around those statistics. And then we better sort of recognize that and learn from it. So, and then we come back to psychological safety, that it's safe to talk about your mistakes and express your mistakes and show that you've made a mistake. And then you take ownership for it and you learn and then you move on. So psychological safety, get to know people, show who you are, and celebrate and learn together.
Yeah. I think that's fantastic advice. And I think especially around the fostering that culture of it's okay to say, yeah, that one's not worked out. We thought it was
Yeah,
going to change the world, but it hasn't
yeah,
worked out. But now we
exactly,
know not to focus on that and we'll try something else.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
And just a side question, do you think there are challenges with sort of driving all this culture, and getting to know people when you've almost got that hybrid working with not everyone's in the office as much as they used to be, and you've got sort of remote workers. Do you think that's an additional challenge?
It's definitely an additional challenge, and I think we saw that very, very clearly during the pandemic. That when we were working 100% remotely, and the engagement levels dropped in our employee service, because you're not in the you're not. It's hard to get the context.
Mm-hmm.
So engagement dropped, and also sick numbers increased. I think this is maybe a whole other podcast episode. Because you need to be actively setting up other challenge and other engagement channels. I mean, during the pandemic, I did a lot more like blogging, like video, sort of YouTube style, like this is what I do. You need more other communication strategies, I think. I'm lucky enough to have an organization that has, to a large extent, the optionality to come into the office. So we really try to have a balance. And even though remote working is really good because you can find competences in other places that you didn't look into before, I mean, geographical places, and it helps with work-life balance and so on. But I also think that it's so important to also meet in person and co-create together. So it's definitely a balance.
Yeah, having that flexibility, that kind of hybrid. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I think we all learned to communicate in very different ways through the pandemic, not just through business, but personally as well. It was a whole new world of devices and things like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's been exciting years.
So look back, but looking forwards, what are your goals for sort of the next 24 months? What's on your list?
Personally or career-wise?
Whatever you feel like sharing.
Well, personally, my goals are to spend as much time as possible with my family and our cats and friends. And career-wise, I think I've sort of reached a point where I've gone from having this super target focus, like I said in the beginning, I wanted to be a CFO, and then I did that journey to get there. And I've always had like, I want to go to that position. Now I'm more like, I want to deliver on the targets and the challenges that I've accepted, basically. And then I want to do things that tickles me. I just want to, to me, it's not important the role I have or things like that, but I just want to do something that is fun and meaningful.
Yeah. And do you think that's kind of because of your change of the way you've sort of maybe looked externally at your career, and now you're looking internally at your values instead of I need that job, it's now I need something that drives me and gives me passion?
Yeah, that's a good point. I've always thought of it as an aging thing. But I like your approach. Yeah, I like the way you explain it. Yeah, that's definitely. I didn't think of it like that, but you're right. Probably. Yeah.
Super. And one last question for you. If you had a magic wand and you could instantly solve one challenge that you see regularly in service delivery, what would it be?
I wish I had that magic wand. I think that's an easy question. For me, it's an easy question. I would wave my wand and instantly break down silos between teams.
So an internal challenge.
I think that so much friction in service delivery is not about people not caring or not being customer focused. It's about fragmented systems, unclear ownership, or teams working towards slightly different goals or different priorities. And if everybody involved in a customer journey just had the same visibility, shared incentives, and seamless collaboration, I think that would transform not just the efficiency of the service, but the employee experience and the customer experience. So that would be where I would wave it.
I mean, that sounds like the dream. The end-to-end customer service. It sounds like the dream. Oh, thank you so much, Caroline. It's been really fun.
Thank you.
If any of the challenges we discussed today resonate with you, or if you're facing your own unique field service hurdles, we'd love to help. At Lead in Digital, we specialise in providing practical, effective solutions to help service organizations streamline operations, enhance customer experience, and leverage technology for long-term success.